Oh, hey there. Welcome back. I'm just chilling, kind of standing on top of things. Not doing a whole lot, but we're going to be doing a whole lot. So, actually, it's pretty cool of you to join me. Join me on this little adventure today. Uh, today, we're going to start off by enchanting a book. Yeah, level 30. We don't want 26. 26 is for lame. Let's go 30. Alright. Sharpness 3. Not really too exciting. Okay, I already had one. Yeah, I did. Oh well. Anyways, first of all, I want to apologize in advance. I just came down with a cold last night, and so my voice is going to be a little strained. There might be a couple of scenes where I'm coughing a bit. Try not to make the video unwatchable. Anyways, I've been messing around with my ME system some more, trying to get things sorted out so that I can start auto-crafting stuff in massive quantities. And I put down an ME crafting monitor. We'll talk about that. I think last episode we set it up so that we could craft the blank patterns. I can now craft all of these things automatically, including the storage segments, and that leads to the ME 4K storage, which is a step up in terms of storage from the 1K. So it holds 4,000 total items, and still, although it still requires just 63 different types of items, or 64 different types of items. You can't go above that, so you've got to have less than 63 types of items, but it can hold 4,000 of those items in there, which is pretty cool. What do we got? We just went to the nether, did some raiding, got a bunch of nether quartz. We need to set up a way to start crafting things in large numbers, and one of those things is the conversion matrix. Okay, so we're gonna want a couple of these guys. To make them, we need some stuff first. So ME space. Alright, oh, I do have an interface already. Oh, never mind. Woohoo. We can at least get the pulverizer set up, I guess. And first thing we've got to do is turn it off so that it does not automatically export to the powered furnace. Well, that's interesting. Interesting. And then we've got to hook it up where we can get items in and out of it pretty quick without too much hassle. So probably put these up top anyways. And this is the ME interface block. This is pretty important. Oh, do I have cable? Oh, like one. That helps. This is a pretty important block just in terms of what we can get it to do for us. And let's see. I don't really have any more cable, which is why I'm hooking this up actually, so we can get this all sorted out. And basically, the interface lets me export or import items. I've used one already. I used it over with the quarry, and I moved it back. Actually, it's down here. Oop, jump over. This is the interface over here. Any items that come through this item tesseract get input into the main network. And that's what the interface is doing. It's exporting or importing items into the network when the tesseract pushes it in. In this case, we're going to be sending information and exporting things using the interface with these thermal expansion blocks. So we need to go up 2, and I don't have enough. So we're going to need to make some more cable, which is just like 6 glass, and then 6 glass, not 3 glass. And I keep grabbing one more than I need. And then this stuff. 1, 2, 3. We can make some more of this. You know what? We're going to go ahead and auto-craft this, because this is ridiculous. I don't want to have to make these things anymore. So blank. Let's grab another blank pattern. Automatically crafts it for me. Come into the pattern encoder. Encode. Alright, let me jump down below. Boom. So you can see down here all of the different items that I have craftable. Oh. I think I was talking about last episode that they used to have a feature where you could toggle between seeing them as blank recipes or what items they make. Now they just default and they look like items. Just kind of weird. Whatever. Okay, so now we can make the cabling just automatically. We don't have to worry about trying to craft it anymore. So cable, that's how you spell cable. There we go. Let's make 2 batches. Or not. Alright, I guess we'll just make 1 batch. That's cool too. Alright. So, the question is, how do we craft things if we need materials to craft them, or if we need to process items to craft them? Because that's really the next step. Using the ME molecular assembler chamber, wow, I can't even say that. The molecular assembler chamber, we can craft any item as long as we have the materials, but what our next step is to craft things if we don't have the materials quite yet, as long as we've got something that we can turn into those materials. So that's what I'll show you after I sleep real quick. Okay, so the first step we need to undertake is setting up our ME interface to basically make the stuff that we need. And what we're going to do is we're going to set it up. Maybe we should make another interface too. Put you in there. Alright. And, okay, there's our other interface. I actually am curious to see if this works, if it connects the other interface. Could go check, but also we should be able to do this anyways. Okay, so we'll want a processor, a second one. Got 1 in my inventory already, but I do need a second. Because we've got to go in here, grab that, and put it in here. So when you make a processor, you've got to pass it through a powered furnace for it to become the ME basic processor. I want to skip that step manually. I keep having to pull them out. When I make one of these, I AutoCraft it. Then I got to pull it out, put it in the furnace, and then grab it back. I just want it to do that automatically and then import it. So we're going to need another thing, which is actually the import bus. And this is something I haven't made yet, but it's very important. The import bus is basically the same thing. Oh, we're going to need another one of these guys. Okay, so let's make an interface. Alright. And then what else do we need? We need 2 iron, 1 cable, and then 2 sticky piston. Iron. 2 of that. Redstone. Oh. And we've got some wood, cobble. And then lastly a slime ball if I have any. Not very many, so I gotta be careful about that. And then double up on my planks. This is something you know what? We should definitely AutoCraft these. I make pistons way too often to not have an automatic recipe for them. There we go. Okay. Much better. Throw this guy in here. And actually, I will put it down here, because that'll probably be something I put on a different page when I expand my molecular assembler chamber. And then, yeah, I'll set up the rest of the stuff, and then I'll be back again. Alright, I'm back. It's been a little while. I took a pretty long break. Again, I'm not feeling too good this weekend, but definitely want to try to get some sort of an episode out. Anyways, back to where we were at. We've got the ME interfaces on top of these guys, and then we've got, of course, each of these blocks. Oh, we need that. And then down here, I've installed 2, you can look at those in a second, 2 import buses. So if you can see them labeled right there, ME basic import bus. And an import bus does one really simple function. It pulls an item out of an inventory. Now we'll have to set it to output out that side, I believe. I believe I have to you have to configure it that way. To go out of there. I want to say that's it. But we will find out if we just test it. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so the system took that little piece of the nether quartz dust and it imported it into the network. So it's just going to grab everything that's out of here in both of these blocks, and I'll have them extended to the rest of them in a bit. But for right now, we just need to worry about these guys. So a couple of different things we need to make the ME network totally auto-craftable, so we can expand it just via auto-crafting. And one of those is to get the ME interface to get us silicon, or to get the system to give us silicon, as well as the quartz dust. So we're going to go over here and we're going to create a recipe. We're going to say start with the end result. So I want to create nether quartz dust, and I'm going to create that using nether quartz. Now, there's no recipe here, but I can kind of tell it, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get quartz dust if I put in nether quartz. I'm going to encode it. There we go. Crafts one piece of nether quartz dust with one nether quartz. And we're going to put it in the interface here. And then it'll automatically change over and show me that I've got it. Now, I'm not sure if they changed it where you don't have to do that anymore. We'll see what happens. Okay, anyways, we go to the nether quartz, pull out that item. You can see that it's reflected on here, that I can craft it. So if I tell it to craft one, let's see if it, I don't think it did. Okay. Alright. And I'm just going to do this, and then we'll see what happens. If it starts running. I wonder if it will. Maybe I screwed it up. I'll cancel it. And then we'll look up nether quartz again. Nope. Can't spell today. Nether quartz, begin. Ooh, it's not wanting to work. Oh, okay. That's probably why. There it goes. Okay. And now it's running. Now it's turning that nether quartz into nether quartz dust. And we can see the crafting monitor is currently empty. The crafting monitor, I said I'd talk about it later in the episode. All this thing is doing is it's telling me what things are currently being crafted by the system and anything that it's missing. So up here it'll show me what the job is, and I can switch between different jobs. And in here it'll show me all the components of that thing that it's crafting. And if it's missing anything, it'll tell me. And this is helpful in case I'm trying to craft something, it's not happening, and I need to know what's going on. So that's the first thing we've got to do. We've got to put a bunch more in, and I'll do that, and then we'll recap here in a bit. Alright, so here's the temporarily finished project, or finished product. Basically, I've got it set up to create a couple of different things in here. Silicon, it'll create silicon from pure nether quartz. So if I just get some of this nether quartz right here, I can just create silicon straight from it. It'll send it to the pulverizer to turn it into the quartz dust, and then it'll send the quartz dust to the furnace to turn it into the silicon. And then with these basic processors, I can also make those. So all of that's automatically craftable from here, which means I can just create the 4K storage cells pretty much whenever I want. We can jump over here, we can see that it's crafting all of these different components. It's got to craft some stuff using the furnace, so it's going to make those as well. It's going to import those back into the system. And it's going to just sort of work its way through. It's going to make the storage segment, which takes 3 storage cells. And it's going to make one more basic processor. It's got to go through the furnace. And then, yep, there it is. We've got the 4K. So if we go and search 4K, there it is. The 4K storage, of course, storing just over 4,000 bytes, which is pretty cool. We just stash this guy right in here. There we go. It's a lot of extra storage space. It's worth at least in terms of capacity, worth for those 1Ks. So let's talk a little bit about going forward, plans with that system and plans with other things. I wanted to explore this cave, actually. I haven't explored it, and there's a bunch of stuff in here that'd be cool to grab. Plus some not nether quartz, but this Certus quartz, which is surprisingly difficult to find, actually. You'll notice that as you play, getting the quartz dust can get really expensive, and you need it for a lot of the applied energistics recipes. That dead-ended. Essentially what the ME network lets you do is do all the auto-crafting and the auto-processing, which I haven't set up. I've got auto-crafting, but not the auto-processing. That's something I'm going to do a little bit later. What it's going to let me do is when I get a bunch of items from my quarry, which is going to be my main input of items when I'm setting up a quarry or 2 quarries or however many I have, you end up with a lot of items that you've got to do something with. And it can be really tedious and take a long time if you're messing with those items by hand, or you're trying to sort them with some other mod's equipment. It's usually very slow. Applied Energistics really speeds things up. It makes it so that you're not spending a whole lot of time just messing with trying to find space to store all your stuff. Oh, look at all this quartz. It's so nice. To do that, there's a couple of different things we got to do, which includes, one, automatically exporting items to get processed. So when I get ore, like say iron ore, from my quarry, I immediately want to turn those into ingots. I don't care to keep them in their forms. I don't want to automatically have to. I don't want to have to set up a system to auto-craft them. I just want to send them off to a pulverizer or a macerator or an industrial grinder. Oh, jeez, that scared me. Wow, I jumped quite a bit. Anyways, I don't want to like mess with them. I really don't want them to sit in my system. I just want to turn them right into the ingots. And to do that, I'm just going to hook up an export bus to like some sort of iron grinding machine, whatever that happens to be. There's some different options. And then that's a lot more damage. And then kind of run it from there. You just send it off to a grinder of some sort, and then send it to a furnace to then smelt the dust that I get. And I want to do that with pretty much all of my ores or any other materials I get that just need to be immediately processed. So no messing around with those, just get them out of the system, get them sorted away. There we go. If I'm digging up, say, let's see, what could I have? Let's say I dig up some abyssal stone, that black stone that I was using to build the data center. If I dig up some of that, I want to immediately send that to a furnace so I can export on purpose out of that. The problem with this system and this whole idea is that it's too slow, or the thermal expansion machines that I have right now are too slow. The network itself isn't too slow. I think you can make. I think you have to make a better import bus. I think the fuzzy import bus is what you want. Unfortunately, these do take an advanced processor, so they're a little bit more expensive. Advanced processors require a diamond, so we'll get to that when we get to that. Hello. Look at all these guys. They all have claws too. It is busy down there. But yeah, we're going to need to get some different machines to do our processing. And that's going to be all GregTech stuff. That's going to be like his furnace that he's got. I forget what it's called. It is busy down here. Look at all these mobs. I don't like how they're all kind of underneath my base. Here's some lava nearby. Pick up some good berries. There's a lot to explore down here. Although, now that I have a quarry, the whole concept of caving kind of doesn't really matter anymore. Because I can always do stuff with that in mind. It might be worth looking at storage buses and some other storage solutions for cobblestone and such. Actually, I could set up the assembler now at this point and run that. There's certainly nothing wrong with using that. Oh, excuse me. At this point. So, probably go do that. I'll grab that and see if... set up this assembler so that when we get cobblestone in the system, we can do stuff with that. As well as this ME condenser, which is sort of like a trash can that I have. But we can use that for some things. But we'll see. And then, yeah, I'll sleep through the night. We'll see what we can do for the rest of this episode. I'm sure there's something we can find to do. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up here, actually. I'm doing some housekeeping here with this guy. I'm currently getting rid of all of my gravel. I just got rid of a lot of my cobblestone by compressing it. And now I'm kind of dumping my gravel into this condenser, which is basically deleting it. It's turning them into matter balls, which is whatever. I don't really plan to use them. But that is, yeah, that's about where I'm at. For the next episode, we're going to start working on more GregTech machines, getting to the, what do I want here? We need the induction furnace. We need to look at some tier 2 machines, some higher grade machines, including the industrial grinder. Where is it? This guy right here, which would be a lot of help in processing items. And definitely something I think will give me some stuff back in the long run. If you look at, say, iron ore, you can smelt it. That's, oh, we need uses, not recipes to make it. If it pops up, we'll see. There we go. Smelting, obviously you can smelt it into an ingot. That's the vanilla recipe. But we know that we can pulverize it into 2 iron dust and possibly some nickel. We also know that if we get it with an induction smelter and rich slag, we can get some ingots out of that. We can create ingots just with the iron hammer, which I didn't know you could do that. Today I learned. You can macerate it into 2, just like you can with a pulverizer. We can grind it into some dirty iron gravel. I believe that's factorization. You can use it with a slag furnace. Or we can use it with an industrial grinder, which gets us 2 tiny piles of iron dust, 1 tiny pile of, or 2 piles of 2 iron dust, 1 tiny tin dust, 1 tiny nickel, and then the empty suckless bag. Depending on how you do this. Basically what you do is you get more tin out of your industrial grinding of the iron. In a certain sense you get the same with the gold. Actually, you know what, if we look here, these are all industrial grinder recipes. For instance, one thing we could do is we can start to grind netherrack, and you can get gold straight out of that, gold nuggets, as well as netherrack dust. You can turn coal into coal dust, tiny pile of thorium dust, and basically you just get extra stuff when you process items like this, or ores like this. Get some extra glowstone with it. With gold, you get a little bit of copper, you get a little bit of nickel. And depending on what you put down here, you can also get even up to 3 of these guys. Mercury isn't too hard to make either, so sometimes this might be worth it. But we'll see in the future. The industrial grinder is definitely something good to have. So this time you're getting a little bit more than 1 diamond when you industrial grind diamond ore. Again, same thing with the emerald. And then just, this one actually straight up gets you 4 nether quartz. So yeah, lots of options. Something I definitely like to build, but it's really expensive, so we'll look at that down the road. Anyways, that's about it for me today. I'm going to keep looking through these recipes. I'll catch you guys next time then.